and welcome back to Kisumu. We are finally here to do the final reveal. The most important thing for us when it came to doing this house was finding solutions for all the unique shapes that we have found on this amazing property. We have transformed everything to make sure that it suits the client's needs. You'll see all these things reflected in the color scheme, the textures, the materials, and the lighting that we've done. So let's get into it. The beauty of this property, as always, starts right from the gate. We were very intentional in making sure that the surroundings leading up to the main house were as green as possible. That was something that the client was very specific about. It was quite a task for fine urban construction interiors to be able to create surroundings that look so dynamic. You can see like we don't have the same plant all throughout. There's many different plants, but we had to be careful in choosing things that would actually be appropriate for an area like this. So when you're looking around, there's flowering plants, there's leafy plants, we have these taller trees just to create, that dynamic as you're going throughout. And I think it works out so well. And of course, as I'm walking here, you can see there's this big car shade. We have a massive compound with cabrio here, so the client has a lot of space to park their car. But as the journey continues and you continue to take in the beauty of this property and noticing that there's certain parts that have more concentration, like over on that end, you can see there's a very intentional design in concentrating a number of plants in that section. And I can imagine that that's going to be such a great view if you're using the gazebo. The grass is coming in really nice, the plants are taking up, and as you keep going, you arrive to the front door of the main house, but we're not going to go in just yet. We'll keep going because there's so much more to see over on this end. So this is where they do their laundry. So this area would naturally end up having a lot of water, but if you wanted to access the house from this area, you're just dragging so much mud into the house. So we came up with a solution. We've put down these stones. So now if there's any water, it just sinks to the bottom and then you don't end up having so much water on your feet or mud. So as we keep going, we are now heading up into this little area that is bordered by more plants, and I've seen the views from the top. The symmetry is so amazing, the contrast, the textures, it's incredible. But of course, it's not just like a solo area. This is an area that leads up into the SQs. Now, I'll only talk about the exterior of the SQs because they really do matter when it comes to structures in the same compound and making sure everything feels harmonious. Over here, you can see that demonstrated by the type of colors and molding that we've done. It's stunning, it's gorgeous, it's perfect as always. So moving on, we have another massive tree. The reason we did not touch any of these trees, as I've mentioned, and I'll keep mentioning, it's because that's what the client enjoys and that's what they love. And as Fine Urban, we're not here to put on our own ideas all the time. We're here to put our ideas with your ideas so that we can come up with a project that works for everybody. Another thing that the client was very specific about was basketball. This is actually quite big. I can see like a one-on-one game here because obviously we don't have the two posts, but there's enough space that if they ever decided to, they could have another one over on that side. The cabro is so well done. This would be a comfortable place to play the game. It's very, very even, and that's what you would need. You wouldn't want anything that's slippery here or anything that is too shiny. So this is the perfect way to finish this off. And if I had a basketball, I would try and shoot my shot. I've never been good at basketball, but I can see this space being somewhere that the client will really enjoy. Just adding those fun elements and things that also amplify the relaxation of this property. There is obviously a very distinctive theme and color throughout this property. Apart from the green, every structure is gray. And that might sound like a color that evokes emotions of sadness, gray, it's drab, it's boring, but when it's done this well and it's done with the textures that we have here and it's done with the molding and the tiling and alongside the other colors that we have here, like the white and then the darker gray that's bordering the house, it is fabulous and it plays so well for these columns. Nice, simple, clean lines. And I cannot imagine a more perfect color for this environment. Everything works so well together, it does not clash. And this is what I call a proper entrance. And then you have this massive door with the bulletproof glass on either side for security. But you guys should be yelling at the screen right now exactly why we would want to even incorporate something like that at the main entrance. Obviously, it's to let light pour into the house. So with that said, shall we open the doors? Welcome to our Kisumu project. The client must really love subtle ways of injecting color into their spaces, because here you can see these are some of the most colorful seats that you've seen us doing. And talking about colorful seats that you've seen us doing, it means these are customized. Of course, I'm gonna start over with this seat, which is this beautiful emerald green with the gray cushions and then that pop of mustard. And then as I keep going, we have this gray carpet. It's shaggy, adding that textural element. And then as I keep going, have yet another pop of color, which you've seen on the other end. Just to create that harmony, we have this mustard seat with the pop of emerald and the gray cushions. It's just well done. It creates balance, and then everything else has been kept subtle apart from these seats here. Something that you will notice as we're going through is the fact that this house has a unique shape. And I've gone through properties and I've shown you how some of the houses that have been built and are finished have these nooks and crannies that can sometimes be so difficult to fill. So what we've done here is added 2 small chairs. You could easily add a small coffee table right in this corner, and now you've used that space. And then it has these really tall windows. So you have one at the bottom level and then one at the top level. This is obviously a double volume living room. You guys should know that by now. I always mention that modern houses have this feature. And when it comes to decorating the walls in a space like this, you have to be very careful and very considerate. And that's what you can see we've done here with the TV wall. Very subtle wainscoting / paneling that's been done here. Nice simple shapes being highlighted by those lights just to make sure that none of those details are getting lost. And I know at the moment this seems so bare. You're probably wondering, where is the 70-inch TV screen? There's some things that the client actually has and they will be bringing in because they had to move from one house to another. So while we're finishing this up, they're just going to come in with some of those bits and pieces, and that is going to be one of the items. But what we've done here as well is the inclusion of this built-in kind of console table with drawers. I always say how this is such a fantastic idea, so you don't have to clutter this space with things that could be neatly packed away. So I'm thinking, do you have some extra magazines that you enjoy reading and you don't just want to stack them on top? Where are you putting your TV remotes and things like that? And now they'll have this entire space to add in things that make their house a home. And of course, temperature control is very important to us. As hot as Kisumu is, it does get a bit chilly sometimes of the year and even in the evening. So to make it nice and cozy, we have included a fireplace. I haven't even touched on the incredible tiles on the floor laid out in this beautiful chevron pattern. We have that woodsy feel because that is another way that we're making sure that we're constantly introducing those natural elements. Every space has a touch of gold or black. So with the white marble tabletop and the gold legs, I am now going to take you over into the dining room. When I was talking about way more black than some other spaces, this is where you really see that theme shine. We have gold, we have black, we have texture, and it just feels so regal and so luxurious. Just these touches on the furniture, and you'll notice that even on the sofas, there's just these details that just elevate the furniture that's been used in this house. The layout of the entire table, it's just so well thought out, but most importantly, the space is easy to navigate. I could easily walk around this entire dining table and I'm looking at things. I'm so mesmerized by the table, but of course, the chandeliers in this property are out of this world. That crystal-like finish, the way the light is bouncing off it, it's perfect. It's not too low and it's just big enough for that gypsum design that we've done. Here, we've kept things rather simple, but it's the use of that cove lighting and the recessed lighting that really emphasizes the wow factor of the gypsum designs that we do. But of course, with all the wall space, we also need to make sure that we're not leaving any walls too bare. So here, we've gone with a really nice, simple wall hanging, still sticking to the theme of gold and black, but here you can see it's a bit more laid back, a bit more subtle, but it still works so well with this entire area. So all these things that you're seeing on the table, you're probably going to have multiple runners, multiple table mats, multiple napkins, and you need somewhere to store all that. So this is the place that you'll be able to do that. And also this could also function as a buffet table. So you have all your serving dishes there and people could just go and serve their own food. But if you look at the floor, you will notice that we have continued the same type of tiling and the same type of design from the living room into the kitchen. I've always described these broken mirror designs that we do as jewels, and I know I also describe chandeliers in the same way. You can see the correlation because they're both like crystal, or the way they're cut, it's just well done. And I always tell you guys, like zoom in, like take a very close look at how clean those lines are. So we have a sink here, very nice because the color again just goes perfectly with the theme. This is where you'd wash your hands and then go to the dining room. Now, when I was talking about how it's easy for me to navigate, I was actually thinking back to when I first came to this house. The sink was there in this corner right here, which you can imagine was taking up unnecessary space and making it harder to make the most out of the dining room. So it's such a clever idea to just move it over slightly and make a complete moment of this space and joining the dining area to the kitchen. We love a white kitchen, but of course, this is another space that would be so easy to mess up. Too much white can come across as boring. Too much white in the kitchen can cause a lot of having to clean up constantly because things are getting all over the place and it just ends up being more of a nuisance than a luxurious experience. As Fine Urban, we think about all those things. We want you to enjoy your kitchen visually, but also functionally. So when we were going white, you can see something like these chairs. They do have a similar design in terms of the diamond design. You have these little rivets all around, you have the buttons. And then as we keep going, you see the black on the gold. That's just how you subtly implement your theme without being too in your face. The texture of this chair is completely different from that because we are in the kitchen. It's going to be easy to get something on a chair like this. So you need to make it easy to clean it off. So we have something that is like a pleather feel here. So it'll be easy to wipe down. We have this island. You have a nice white marble countertop and of course, more storage. We have the sink over on this side, stainless steel, nice black tap here. Fabulous, absolutely fabulous. We had to come in, do the measurements and figure out how are we going to make the most out of a kitchen that feels this small. And you can see we have the microwave tucked away. You have your coffee maker and here we'll have the fridge. The reason that we are so confident that we can put this in here, knowing that the client is coming with their own appliance, is because we do the due diligence. We talk to our clients, we find out What do you have in your house? What size is your TV? What size fridge are you bringing in? So that when you come in, whether we're the ones putting in appliances for you or you have your own appliances, you'll find the space for it and you're not gonna have an issue where you're like, guys, I have this massive fridge and you guys have given me such a small space. So this has been made to measure. So the client will just bring in their fridge. We already have all the wiring done and they can just tuck it in and it'll fit in perfectly into the kitchen, leaving room for moving around. And as I'm going through, I've just gone on and on about how white this kitchen is, but you have to break that up some way. So here you can see we've gone with this greenish gray. When I'm looking closer, it looks like it has a hint of green in it, and it's been done on either side here. We have it on the sides of the island in such a subtle and clean way. It just fits in with everything. And this is another empty space in the kitchen. That's another thing that the client will be bringing in for themselves. If I lived here, even if I did not make bread, I'd definitely make bread, because now you have somewhere to place your bread. We have beautiful faux flowers over on this side. I actually had to come in super close and take a look because I'm like, are these real? They're so stunning. And it's just another way that the client doesn't have to fuss over watering all these plants that Fine Urban has put in their house. Of course, we can't finish this tour without looking on up to this incredible chandelier. It's gorgeous, but also when talking about lighting in this kitchen, we've made sure that we're also playing with spot lighting. So over on this side, you can see that we have spotlights over places like the sink, because at night, obviously, you won't have all this natural light pouring in. Here we have our dishwasher, and of course, we have to appreciate the transition from all the woodsy feel to these large white marble tiles. Honestly, the color choices make it feel so much bigger, more glamorous, and of course, luxurious. Here we have the pantry. Here we've chosen to continue on with the wood feel flooring. We have massive counters, and I also like the fact that we have this area. So if you have like jars, sometimes people like to store things in jars. This will be a really nice place to just place them. It'll be so easy for you to reach for the things that you might reach for more often. For those bits that you don't reach for as frequently, you have your rice, your pasta, whatever it is, the client has more than enough space to do that. And of course, we've made sure to also consider the lighting. So now that we're done with this gorgeous wing of the house, we can keep on going and take a look at some of the other features on this floor. So behind door number 1, we have storage, so that remains closed. And then here we have yet another moment. You'll notice that Fine Urban really loves to do this. We like creating moments in different spaces. So we've seen what we've done with the sink over there. And then here, it's another transitional point in the house. This is where you would walk past as you're going up the stairs. And this wall was bare. It just had a board on it because this house initially was meant to have an elevator. So there was like allocation made behind here, and the client was like, I don't really need that. So they just put a board, and that was boring. So when you came in and the client was like, help me, what do I do with this wall? I don't want it to just look very bland and boring. We're the right guys for the job. We always know what to do with wall space. So you can see here, we have used wainscoting, we've created these display shelves, and then finished it off with this console table, continuing on with the theme. It also has that diamond pattern on it. And when I'm standing here, looking into the kitchen, there's a direct through line of those design choices. We walked into another white space. Everything feels like it belongs, and these wall tiles, incredible, beautiful, my favorite thing. But of course, a bathroom is not a bathroom if you don't have the proper fitting. So of course, we have a toilet bowl, and then we have this sink with a mirror. I love that it's circular, and it has a pop of color, which is a theme that will continue. It has that pop of color with the red. What more could you ask for from a bathroom? Up the stairs we go, continuing with that dark wood theme that the client really seems to love. But you'd rather keep things very simple, but you want to make sure that they're well lit. So we have spotlights leading all the way up, and we've also included the cove lighting kind of guiding you all the way upstairs. We are now on the first floor. And again, it's another opportunity to get to enjoy this house on a different level. There's so many moments I feel like I had to pause and just really take in what Fine Urban has done to transform this house. I can't even begin to describe being able to get this view of the chandelier and really appreciate all the tiny pieces and see how the light is really reflecting off of those individual crystals, lighting up what is such a spectacular living room down below. We want all the transitional spaces to feel like they make an impact on the overall house. So here we've continued with the wainscoting because it is an element that we've done downstairs. You've seen it on the stairs. So we want to continue those things as we're going through. Here we've used it to frame these pieces of artwork with these pops of color throughout, texture. They're just nice and simple, not glaring. They don't call too much attention, but they do so much for this space. So what is behind this door? Let's find out. All the seats that we've customized for this property have this element of a very velvety touch. It has the contrast stitching all around. We have that pop of color on the seats with the orange. The curvature of the seat, you can see it was very purposefully done on this side because we have this curve here. And if we put anything else here, it just wouldn't make sense. We have another shaggy carpet. The ones that were downstairs were more gray. This one is more brown. We're looking at that TV wall. We're seeing that marble finish again, but now in a more caramel brownish color. But as always, we've included storage. Over here, you have your display shelves. You have more storage over on this side. I feel like if the client has books, this could also be an excellent shelf for that. You'll put your books here and you can have a bit of a bookshelf going on. You could sit in that corner and read your book if no one's using this room. We continue with the theme of the marble tabletop, and we also have that diamond shape being implemented in that pleather, continuing the theme of the entire house. As I'm looking up, we've gone with mostly cove lighting here due to the gypsum design, but it is still quite eye-catching. And then obviously we have a space over here that feels quite empty. What is going on here? What was the idea? This is where the client could have their own little fridge. If you have the cooler, they could actually choose to use the space for anything that they wanted. And you'll see that we've been very careful to do that because, as I mentioned, there's a number of things that the client will be moving in with, so we did not fill up the entire space. We have the bathroom so that you don't have to leave this room for anything. As small as this is, everything is well spaced out. You have your toilet bowl, you have your sink, you have these beautiful gray tiles on the wall. It's just well done. And of course, it's always about convenience. You don't want to have to lose that leisurely feeling that you've come into this room for just to go use the bathroom. So now that we're done, let's begin taking a look at the bedrooms on this property. Room number 1. This is one of the rooms that really highlights the challenges that we had to face when it came to this house. This is a small room, y'all. It is small, but as I'm standing here and I'm seeing how we've been able to fit a bed that even I could fit on. I'm a bit of a tall person, so I could fit on this comfortably. It's not like too narrow. This is actually customized by us as well. And it continues that theme of the velvety touch to it. And it's such an excellent thing that the client loves our customized furniture so much that they gave us the leeway to not only do their seats, but all the beds on this property, apart from the one in the master bedroom, but we'll talk about that later. We've gone with glass sliding doors just to take away anything that would steal away from a space that is already so constricted. So we have the sliding doors for the cabinetry so that this room still has some form of storage. And here we have the bathroom. If you thought the room was a challenge, now try and imagine the bathroom that would actually fit in this room. Such a tiny space. But that's where we shine. That's where we shine. We always talk about, give us a massive room, we'll make the most out of it. Give us a tiny room, we'll make the most out of it. So this bathroom needed to have a toilet bowl, a shower, and a sink, and it had a swinging door. That just did not make any sense. So we talked to the client and we were like, look, the best we can do to make the most out of this bathroom is actually getting rid of that swinging door and include the sliding door. So as I'm looking, whoever's going to be in this room is going to really appreciate this bathroom, because they even have somewhere to put their extra soaps. You have your shower head, you have your sink, and then you can actually just get in and out quite easily. So now let's go into another room that feels a bit bigger and take a closer look at that. Bedroom number 2. So this one directly introduces you to another clever way that Fine Urban has made the most out of a room. So we have this little entrance here into the bathroom, but it was big enough where we're like, oh, we could create like a semi walk-in closet for the owner of this room without taking away from the entrance. So we have these tiles, light tiles leading you over here. We have the sliding doors so that you still have enough space as you're walking into the bathrooms. And then you can see the tile has gone a bit darker. We have the green tiles on the wall. We have the sink, toilet bowl, and talking of shower cubicles, let's take a closer look at this one. You will notice that we have made sure to go for more of a chrome finish. You have your overhead shower, but again, you have this handheld shower with the porcelain handle. It has this old school feel to it, which I just feel like it's another thing that just makes your bathroom feel a bit more interesting. Everything looks spick and span and nice and shiny and beautiful. So if you were to come in through the door, you'd go directly into the bedroom. Here we have a room that feels bigger, but again, this house with its unique shapes, you can see right over here, you have this curved section. I can see someone easily adding a seat here. If it's something they felt that they needed for their space, we have another customized bed here. This one has the button detailing to it. It's much bigger because of course here we have a bigger space, still really nice and soft to the touch. This is another Fine Urban Construction and Interiors customized piece. So the mattresses are something the client is coming in with as well. We have the cabinetry here, and then you have another console kind of area here. There's just so much storage. Gone for a bit of a funkier design when it comes to the gypsum. Nice, clean lines as always. Recessed lighting, cove lighting, well implemented. And as we're looking at the curtain and we're looking at the bed and we're looking at the carpet and looking at the rest of the colors of this room, harmony, they all work together because we take the time to pay attention to all these small details. On we go to the next floor. So you will notice that the gypsum has continued the same way we saw as we're heading up the first set of stairs. Bedroom number 3. This is a mirror of the room we just saw downstairs. As much as everything has to work together, you can also do that while making different rooms have different characters. So for this one, I can tell the walls have this blue-gray color on the walls. And then I can look at the curtains and see that That looks a bit more green. So you can see it has its own character. The bed, I love this detailing. We have another rug on the floor. Here you can see we have a bit more space. So we did leave those swinging doors because as you can see, I'm demonstrating this. As I'm standing here, I'm still able to comfortably open that and reach in, get what you need without too much fuss. Here we have the bathroom. There goes the sliding door. That was the only way to make this bathroom as functional as possible. Toilet bowl, you have your sink, you have your shower. So this is where the person would be. And now you have enough room to do your thing. And if you need, you can take down your handheld shower head and do your thing. And it is a fully functional bathroom. Windows, bring in the lights. It has a lot of ventilation. So on to the next room. Room number 4. So right over here. In this one, you were greeted by the bathroom. Again, as I'm going through, we have the toilet bowl, you have your sink, you have your shower cubicle. I like that this is not just frosted, it has a bit of texture to it. You have your shower there. Handheld, you have your little section where you can put in your extra soaps. Over here, and pop of color. Pop of color. I love this so much. I love this color, this deep red. We have that diamond patterning. We have the buttons in there. I love this. This is actually quite gorgeous. And then we've kept everything else quite subtle because this bed is quite the statement. We have the grays and the whites and the curtains made to measure by Fine Urban Construction and Interiors. All the soft furnishings that you see in this house are by Fine Urban. We have the cabinetry, we have your display shelves for, I always say, shoes or bags or any goods that you may have, even books. I feel like if you're a big reader, this is another place that you could display your books. You have your wardrobes here with allocation for hanging your clothes. We have a nice, beautiful, simple centerpiece for this gypsum. We have the cove lighting, the recessed lighting, but this room has a special feature. This room has a balcony. This is perfect. It is perfect. I can feel the sun, but it is helped by having this shade here. So it's not like direct, like what I was getting when we were downstairs, but you still get to enjoy the warmth. And this is one of the first views where you can really enjoy what I was talking about in terms of symmetry and contrast of that area right in front of the DSQ. You get to look around and see the beautiful lighting, see the trees, the basketball court. You have an excellent view of the gazebo, although I think the person who has the best view of the gazebo is the master bedroom. I'll show you that view in a minute.
A piece deep in my bones.
This is the master bedroom.
And you make anywhere feel like home. Home isn't where we live. It's living by your side.
Here we have this space. The idea, you could have like a small lounge area here, leaving the main space fully open for as big a bed as you need. Obviously, the elephant in the room that I cannot ignore is we have yet another moment. This honeycomb design for the broken mirror it's fantastic. Can you imagine having this as a piece in your room, being behind your headboard? Beautiful. It's fantastically done as always. Nice and clean lines. And then when you're looking up at the gypsum, really nice and simple. The use of lighting is, I think, what really makes our gypsum designs next level. You could have a very simple gypsum design, but what you do in terms of lighting really adds or emphasizes that design. So here we have a very simple design. We have our cove lighting, we have a recessed lighting, and then as we keep on going, we have another section here that has a bit more detailing, but again, playing around with those simple shapes, playing around with that cove lighting, highlighting those little areas and sections. But this is like a corridor of sorts, and that's why you will see us implementing different gypsum designs, just to let you know, like, you're now in a transitional area. The use of that light, it really does feel like track lighting, leading you in a particular path. But am I heading that way now? No, I'm gonna turn this way. I am now looking at the walk-in closet. The initial thing that was in this house was actually 2 bathrooms. They had 2 bathrooms and it felt so completely unnecessary. So we were like, look, let's take that bathroom away and actually make this into a walk-in closet. And that actually works so much better. We have the sliding glass doors, and as always, these are customized by Fine Urban Construction Interiors with a deep understanding of the client's needs and what kind of stuff they'll actually need to store in there. So the glass is actually so helpful. I've talked about this in Mudaiga. Having glass really just helps you quickly and to identify all the items and where they are placed. It saves so much time instead of having to open each and every door, trying to rifle through your clothes. It'll be so easy to stand back and be like, oh, that's where my jeans are. That's the pair of jeans I need. So we have another door in this section right over here. Welcome to the bathroom. We have this lovely wooden frame around the mirror. We have the contrast with the white, and then nice simple design for the mirror. And then that also comes down to the white of this his and her sink, the chrome taps, fantastic. And then as you keep going, you see that woodsy feel continuing alongside the white. This is another white bathroom. We have the glossy tiles on the wall, massive, with the gray veining, and then when you look at the floor, it's the same, but much bigger tiles. We have the bidet there, we have the toilet bowl nice and tucked into this area, and then we were able to section off this entire area for the shower. When it comes to curved walls, you'll really have to take the time to make sure that you're cutting those tiles to fit the area as seamlessly as possible. So we've moved from those massive tiles, and when we came here, of course, we had to cut them down to size to make sure that we're perfectly matching the curvature of this wall. We have these long strips of windows letting in that light, but they are frosted, just creating that element of privacy. We have the shower head right here, more lights in this space, and my favorite feature, this handheld shower head. The client still has the option, if they later on choose to have something like a hot tub or something like that, we made sure to install the provisions for that in there, because that space is big enough to accommodate something like that. So we thought ahead and we gave them the option, like, if you decide the provisions are already there, we found the perfect placement. You guys can guess who would be using this space. It's much bigger, so much more space. We have this full-length mirror, and of course, if we want you to be able to get a good view of yourself, we have to make sure that the lighting is ideal. So we have multiple spotlights here. We have a provision for display. We have these massive wardrobes. Ooh, this looks like where you'd hang like your coats. This one's a bit shorter, so I imagine that's where you'd have your coats. I can see drawers for things like stockings. It's just, honestly, this is for the woman. There's no two ways about it. The guy can have the other side, and this will be for the woman. The birds chirping, and I can fully understand why the client was like, I need as much nature and green in my compound, because if this is where they're going to be spending most of their life, waking up and coming out here and being able to look out and see your lush grass, see your plants thriving, see your trees, hear the birds, enjoy the sun. Really, this is the ultimate natural experience that you could have. And we've made sure that we've retained that as much as possible. So I see this being a space that is going to be used a lot and is so enjoyable. Off we go down another well-lit hallway with wainscoting detail on the wall, nice subtle colors. To the rooftop. It is a complete diversion of expectation. You would think the rooftop is not going to be as green as what we're looking at in the lawn. Obviously, we couldn't grow grass up here. We have this faux grass all over, and then we have lined this entire area with these colorful pots with the plants, creating a bit more privacy in this area. We have this dining set, continuing that theme with these stripes of green and cream. We have this glass tabletop. It has this flexible parasol so you can put it up or take it down as needed. With any leisure area, we want to make sure that our client does not have to leave that leisure to go somewhere else just for a bathroom. So we have the toilet bowl in there, you have your sink here, and then you can see one of the first pieces for the home gym that the client is going to have. And I know you guys have seen us doing many home gyms where it's a bigger space and there's more items, but it's always about the client's needs. What do they need in terms of their day-to-day workout? So this being a leisure and lounge area, we had to make sure that you have the amenities for that. So over here, you see we've included a provision for shelving. We've gone with a really nice dynamic gypsum design. We've used those recessed lights. We've used that cove lighting. So this will be the backdrop to a bar. So you can stack your drinks on there. They could bring in their own table for where they could serve their drinks so that you're making the most out of this rooftop. So you prepare your drinks here and then you can grab it, head on over and have a seat here, enjoy your drinks. Or if you want to be in a bit more of a swing seat, this is much more relaxed. Also has a covering, and the sun can have quite the effect on certain fabrics. So we've made sure that these are super durable and they're ideal for outdoor spaces. So last but not least, I just had to wait until the sun went down so you could get a full experience of this gazebo. Here we've gone with a really simple setup. We have a really large chair, but as always, the materials have been carefully considered just to make sure that nothing is getting affected by the elements, because it is outdoor. So you really have to think about these things. Even when you're looking at the table, you can see that it's a very carefully considered material. Of course, the next thing is tiling, gypsum, lighting. Fine Urban always knocks it out of the park when it comes to these elements. And I'm going to start with the tiles. These are excellent tiles. These are tiles that we have used as a company and we have deemed of the highest quality, and they always just add that oomph to a space. And the patterning that wood feel is absolutely perfect for this environment. When you look around at the landscape, you can see there's so many trees which we did not touch. So adding in this wooden flooring really just melts in with that those natural elements that are surrounding us. That design is absolutely incredible, and the decision to just take it to that next level by using the blue light to create a vibe. And this is exactly why I wanted to wait until midnight, so you guys get, not midnight, nighttime or evening, so you guys can get the full effect of what this lighting really does for this space. It is so calming. I feel like I could sit here forever and ever. And of course, all around, we also have those recessed lights. We have to make sure that everything makes sense together. So we cannot do beautiful, incredible, out of this world molding on the main house and then totally ignore this incredible gazebo and its columns. So we also have that design. And when I'm looking around, the colors just melt in so well together. We make sure that whatever we're doing in terms of landscaping actually makes sense for the property. A lot of the times we incorporate the perimeter wall in what we do. For this one, you may have noticed that we haven't done much for the walls, so we kept the lighting focused on the things that we did do. One of the things we did was making sure that this grass was lush, that the trees were thriving, and that this area was as green as possible, because that's what our client wanted. And Fine Urban Construction Interiors definitely understood the assignment. So you can see in how we have chosen to just strictly go with lower level lighting, and we've dotted it around from the main entrance all the way here in such a way that they're not too close together, but they're not too far away apart. So it's so easy to navigate. Even at a time like this, you will not feel like, oh, there's a spot where it's dark. It's so delicately dotted around. And I think the use of this globe-like shape, having them in pads, it just does add another beautiful element to it. Thank you guys so much for staying with me through this tour. It has been wonderful. This house has provided us with so many challenges, not only in the kind of unique shape that it has, but also meeting the client's every need. We are a company that offers solutions. So I hope you guys have been able to see all the solutions that we've offered in terms of the landscaping, that gazebo, the soft furnishing, this selection of materials. And I hope that you've really enjoyed this tour. I couldn't think of a better way to end this, but by showing you the full glory of this property at night. And I'll see you guys in the next video.